Move to approve the consent calendar for the meeting of October 21st, 2015 in the amount of $1,978.13.
Second.
A motion's been seconded. Any further comment? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstained? Ayes have it. Next on our agenda is is the Parks and Rec Commission. Dave Putnam and Mike McDowell are here to give us a presentation on the year they had so far. Maybe a whole big overview.
Well, two specific areas. The first one is our Special Revenue Fund, and our Special Revenue Fund was developed in July of 2010, and part of having that fund was as periodically to make reports back to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance. So that on a yearly basis, I try to come before you and do that. So I have a PowerPoint. It's up on the screen here, and so I can go through that. So
sometimes when we have PowerPoints, it's better for us to sit out, since we
Perfect.
don't have a lot of handouts. Would you recommend that?
yes.
Since there's going to
I
be a
don't
lot of
have any handouts.
slides.
Yeah, I don't have any handouts.
Okay.
It's all on slides for you.
So, or you could turn chairs. What I'm going to try to do is zoom in. This is never fun. Ready for your close-up?
Yep.
Dave, you just want to make sure that mic is, you're boosting right into that mic so everyone
Perfect.
at home can learn all about Parks and Rec.
Great. So first of all, you've already introduced Mike, and I just want to thank him for coming tonight and helping me out with the presentation, also putting it together. So he does great work for our department, and I want to thank him for coming out. So this is our Special Revenue Fund report, and then the second thing I want to get into is I had a lot of questions this summer regarding our beaches and those types of things. So I wanted to get kind of a beach report on how we did this summer with our beaches and stuff, and some comparisons and stuff. But first, I wanted to get into our Special Revenue Fund report. So, Mike, if you could go along. So it was established July 1st of 2010. These are our subcategories that we have in it: adult programs, youth programs, our playground, special events, Celebrate East Lyme, donation, the Commission on Aging trips, youth service programs, and passports are all run through our Special Revenue Fund. The balance as of June 30th, 2015 is $74,228. We have some designated funds that are in the Special Revenue Fund. The Nyack Rotary Club donated $15,000 probably 3 years ago for an electronic message board for out front that has received all the approvals, and we're starting to move forward with that. Also, we have WebTrack, which I've come before the board for permission to do that, and that is our online registration system for programs and facilities. And then because we have the Special Revenue Fund, part of that was out of that fund we make a contribution of $10,000 each year to the general fund of the town. So that's a 5-year culmination of where we are to date on our Special Revenue Fund, and just go through some highlights of what we're able to do with the fund. So some of our adult programs, we have exercise, wellness, sports, dance, cards, trips, fencing. Just give you an idea of what is handled in our adult program type thing. The picture on the bottom is our men's softball league out of Brybrook. Our youth programs are arts and crafts, drama, science and exploration, fitness camps, sports camps, music, fencing, outdoor education, just some broad things that we do in our youth programs. The picture on the bottom is our play group that meets in the youth center every Thursday. They made a donation to help fix the boardwalk a long time ago. We were collecting pennies. I think it was for $42. There was a check, but it was really cool. So, our youth service programs, we have a student advisory board. We do suicide awareness and prevention forums. The picture on the bottom left there was of our latest forum that was conducted. We had about 60 people attend here in the meeting room. We were able to also broadcast that live on Channel 22. We have our ski club, our open center program. You have a picture of the open center up top. Some of the other programs that we're able to offer. We do internet safety assemblies through youth services, the Youth Coalition, the Juvenile Review Board, our drug and alcohol-free graduation party that we sponsor. We sponsor Challenger basketball, and we have an outdoor adventure summer camp. So those are the type of youth service programs that are handled through the Special Revenue Fund. Then we have a playground program. It's for grades K through 5, and then a hangout program that are grades 6 through 10. And this needs to have its own separate category because it's so big. It's a 7-week summer program. We have 275 youth enrolled in it this past summer. We had 50 staff members. We do weekly field trips, special events and activities weekly. We do an end-of-the-year field day. And then one of the advantages of having the Special Revenue Fund is all FICA and Social Security payments for our staff come out of the Special Revenue Fund, where in the past that used to come out of the operating fund. So that's been a big advantage for us, for the town, really, to get that out of the operating budget. Celebrate East Lyme, Mike, as you know, is Mike runs that through our department. He's the sole person responsible for that with some committee members, but all income and expenses, including the fireworks, which we get a large chunk of that from Dominion every year, is run through the Special Revenue Fund, and then Mike coordinates that. The bottom right is the Paul Lucier Band with, I don't know who the...
Don't they donate to services every year?
They do, yeah. And that picture's blurred out of the drummer. I don't know if that's intentional or not. But, and then the fireworks, obviously. And then the Nyack Light Parade is also handled through the Special Revenue Fund, and all income and expenses that come in for that is run through the fund. And then our event is coordinated by Park and Rec, but there is a light parade committee that's been together for 26 years that we work closely with and are able to coordinate that. So, and then we have, this is really neat, and this is kind of what, I don't know if I'm most proud of, but something that kind of when I came before you 5 years ago to get the Special Revenue Fund, like what things could we do out of it? You know, so we run Jeffrey's Rainbow Run, which is a scholarship. We do a run for the Borges family, and from Salem, because our youth services does also include East Lyme and Salem people, and we do this annually. And over the past 3 years, we've been able to give out $4,500 in scholarships to high school seniors from East Lyme and Salem, and this is run through our Special Revenue Fund. So. And then the first year we did it, we did a one-time donation to the Borges family. So it's something that is really good. We do the Mike G. Living Water Golf Tournament. It's held in memory of the former Public Works Director, Mike Giantasio. To date, we've raised over $16,000, and the majority of that money has gone to helping get drinking water in Haiti, and that was one of Mike's passions. So that's really neat that we're able to do that. We do the Flanders 5K and the Nyack Bay 10K, and those are fundraisers to help offset our free open center program at the youth center, which is done daily for grades 5 through 8 after school. We do Wednesday night concerts in August at McCook. We did a family camp out and movie night at McCook. The Friday night movies were very popular this past September. We're going to definitely continue those, and hopefully everyone will participate in our Trick or Trunk event at Smith Harris, which is coming up Wednesday, October 28th. So at 6 o'clock at Smith Harrison, that's a really neat event. So, Mike, if you could scroll through. So just some pictures of our special events, the Nyack Bay 10K, our family camp out as McCook. It's the only one time a year that we allow camping there. It's been very popular. We have a picture of the Mike G. Golf Tournament, the Trick or Trunk, and then just a flyer for Jeffrey's Rainbow Run. Also, we have our East Lyme Regional Theater program. We've produced summer programs, summer performances the last 5 summers. It continues to flourish. We have a great director that runs that in Aaron Stanley, and again, all the revenue and expenses from that run through our Special Revenue Fund. This past summer, they did 4 performances of Seussical, so it's a really neat thing. We are a passport acceptance facility. We took that over in in April of 2013. To date, in our office, we've processed 645 passport applications. We charge a $25 fee to be able to do that, and we've been able to offset some of the purchases. The tent that has really replaced the use of the pavilion for 2 years with the boardwalk construction, that not being available. The pavilion, the tent has really become a nice amenity to the park, and I think once we get the pavilion back next summer, we'll keep the tent and the pavilion and do rentals in both places. And then part of the passport money was also to help fund the, if you haven't been to Vets yet, the new bathroom facility at Veterans Memorial Park has been great. So just by us taking passports, it's been really, people have to call for an appointment, and it's been really a seamless transition for us to be able to handle that. So, and then our WebTrack software, which we're really excited about. Out of the special revenue fund, we were able to take the $15,213 that it cost for us to do that. We've recently did a week training on that, and we are almost ready to go. And by our winter programs, we hope to have those up and running. This is what our webpage will look like. We're going to direct people to the town website, and then there'll be a link to this, and then this will come up for people to be able to register for, again, adult programs, youth. They'll also be able to register for facilities. So if they want a tent rental and a pavilion rental, it'll be done in real time online, so no one can double book that. And then people have to log in and have a password, and once they have that, then they're ready to go. So we're excited about what we've been able to do in the last 5 years with the Special Revenue Fund, and I think it's worked exactly as the way I had envisioned it 5 years ago, and something we work really hard about, and our staff does a really good job managing. So if you have any questions on the Special Revenue Fund, I'd be more than happy to answer that before I get into the beach process. You want to do the beach thing? Okay.
Yeah, just one
Yep.
question, Dave. The WebTrack,
Yep.
is that a one-time purchase?
Yes.
Or is there an
No,
annual?
there is an annual maintenance fee, but the annual maintenance fee is probably, I think it's $2,000. Mike, do you remember what the maintenance fee is? Yeah, and we're able to handle that through the Special Revenue Fund, be able to do that. But that is a one-time purchase, yes. And then there is an annual maintenance fee, just like any software.
And that entitles you to whatever necessary upgrades and
That-
support, technical support?
24/7, their support is tremendous.
Where are they?
They're Vermont systems, they're out of Vermont.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. So one of the things is, as I was coming to do a Special Revenue Fund, I had a ton of questions regarding the beaches this year, and some feedback from some of our residents and some of our board members and stuff. So I just wanted to give a short report. We're at the 3 beaches now that we're managing. And so I thought this was a really cool slide to kind of give you an overview of what we're dealing with. McCook's Beach is on the left. It's 620 feet long. And the hole in the wall is just 10 feet longer at 630. And the new beach, the Niantic Bay Beach, is 2,700 feet long. So just to give you an idea, kind of a neat slide that Bill Sheard put together for me, and just to, kind of give you an idea of what we're managing as far as beaches are concerned. Some frequently asked questions that I wanted to address tonight. I get this all the time. How do our fees compare to other local municipal agencies and state beaches? Why do we allow non-residents in our parks and beaches? Can a beach be resident only? I get that a lot. Why is the beach more crowded than it used to be? And then why aren't dogs allowed on the beaches? So just to give you kind of what we're going to touch base on here tonight. So our fees for 2015, these are set by the Park and Recreation Commission. A resident is $35. A resident for any additional vehicles after that is $25. Resident senior is $15. A non-resident is $100. A resident day pass is $10. A non-resident day pass is $25. And then a non-resident walk-in pass is $10. And a non-resident season pass is $50. And then all proceeds from McCook sales go into the town's general fund. So our beach pass revenue sales since 2009. In 2009, our revenues were $82,410. This past summer, that's why I kind of come before you, because it was $165,444. So we've increased since 2009 in our revenue, $83,034. And I just wanted to note that we did open the beach and we did start managing it in 2013. So just to give you some facts of where we're at. Go ahead, Mike. So our 2-year comparison, the last year and this year, I projected $137,000 for revenue for McCook, and we were at $165,000. So I wanted to kind of take a look at where, where that $30,000 increase came from. So I took 2014 and then 2015 and tried to just compare where we're at. A couple things I wanted to note is, our non-resident day passes went from 1,006 to 1,350, plus of 344 passes over last year. So that increased our revenues by $8,600. The non-resident walk-in passes went from 179 that we issued to 1,082 this year, an increase of 903 walk-in passes for non-residents. $9,000 increase in our revenue, and that was based on a couple of things. I think number one is we started managing and staffing Cheney Park. So that when people were walking in, we were getting those people, and we put people on there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday selling day passes. So I think a lot of that is generated from having someone down there to manage that. The other thing is we increased the non-resident walk-in pass the Park and Rec Commission did from $30 to $50. So you can see a significant decrease in the number of season walk-in passes that we sold. And I think some of that generated that people were only going to pay the $10 to walk in if they were a non-resident. So just to give you an idea, and we went down in a couple different areas. The second vehicle is minus $100, but everywhere else, our numbers are increasing, and our revenue is increasing on a yearly basis, and we are really weather dependent on that too. And we've had 2 great beach seasons in a row, so with very few rain. So let's talk about park fees a little bit. So Rocky Neck, I get asked this all the time. What are they do the day passes, and on weekends for a state resident it's $13, and for a non-state resident it's $22, and then on weekdays they're $9 and $15, and then they do have reduced rates that apply after 4 p.m. So I know it's kind of hard to look at it because they go state resident and non-state resident. Our non-resident fee is $25 for the day, and so Rocky Neck is $22. So we're in that same type of category, I think. Other local municipalities I wanted to look at, and so we surveyed a whole bunch, but I took some that I thought were comparable to us. And so our resident season passes, you see East Lyme on the top, and then what the other 4 towns that I compared with I think we're in the ballpark there as far as our fees are concerned. And then again with resident seniors, I think we're $5 higher than the other with the other 4 towns. Go ahead, Mike. So day passes for residents, it's $10. The Groton City is $15 and $25 on weekends. Waterford is $2 and $5, and Madison is $10. And then day passes for non-residents, East Lyme is at $25, and then you have the other communities there, all the way from Madison, which is $25 Monday through Thursday, and $40 on the weekends and on Fridays. Go ahead, Mike. So non-resident seasonal passes. This is a season pass. We're at $100. Old Saybrook is at $150. Groton City, again, 65 and 45. And then Waterford and Madison have they only sell day passes to non-residents. And then walk-in passes for East Lyme residents, all they need to do is show an ID, it's free. And then the non-resident we talked about was $10, and the non-resident senior is $50. And you can see Old Saybrook has no requirement that anybody can walk in, and the same with Madison. Anybody can walk into their beaches. So with that, why do we allow non-residents in the parks, and can a beach be residents only? So what I did is I took a look at the state law and the Layden versus Greenwich case that was done back in the 90s, and just some highlights there I took out of the bottom one kind of reacts to me. A town cannot broadly restrict non-resident access to a town beach, even if that property contains no other attractions or activities and therefore is used solely as a beach. And then the one highlighted is decision does state that the same rules for access to the property must apply without regard to residents. So I look at that and I get concerned, and I think our Park and Rec Commission gets concerned too, that can you do a resident-only beach? I look at this, and the way that reads to me is it's pretty straightforward that you can't, that you have to provide the same access for everybody. Go ahead. And then fees, we talked about fees. We're for a resident, it's $35. For non-residents, it's $100. And then the bottom one kind of gets to me. If the fees were so high as to bar many non-residents or any class of residents from access to the public property, they could be found in violation of state constitutional precedents. So we can charge an additional fee for a higher fee for our non-residents, but it can't be so high where we're in violation of how this law reads. This is kind of why are the beaches busier than when I was a kid, and I have some philosophies. I'm going to throw those out here today. So I was in Logan Airport last year, and I was going through the magazine thing, and I just happened to come across New England Boating Magazine, and on the headline it said Niantic to New Bedford, and a nice article on Niantic, and then a picture of our beach. And, McCook is just a short walk from downtown and several marinas. This is in New England Boating Magazine. If you go to TripAdvisor, the number one thing to do in East Lyme is Hole in the Wall Beach, and then the Rocky Neck, Niantic Bay Boardwalk, and McCook. We just kind of Googled that one day and said, I was sitting with Mike. Mike brought up TripAdvisor and thought that was pretty cool, but we're not actively going out and we're not actively selling it. I think our facilities solicit themselves. And then the Boston Globe, right before Labor Day weekend, ran an article on Niantic is the perfect spot to catch the waning days of summer. Picture of the Hole in the Wall Beach, and then a nice little article about, from Fisher's Island to Montauk. And then we have the Amtrak Beach and that kind of thing. So, as far as Discover East Lyme, they do a great job also promoting our beaches and our parks and everything in the community. Obviously, everybody knows we are Connecticut's favorite, day in town, and which was a great honor and everything. I think a lot of that had to do with our beaches in our downtown area, obviously, and then the improvements to our facilities. So I wanted to kind of why are we getting this big spike? Well, 5 years ago, that was our restroom on the left at McCook. Today, that's our restroom there with, the showers, shower towers off to the left, where before we had the pull chains underneath the bathroom and stuff. So, and then the Hole in the Wall. This was 6 years ago. The picture on the left was the restroom facility with no power into that building. So there were no lights in there, and to the state-of-the-art facility that we have now with shower towers and office space and storage space and stuff. And then the improvement to the Niantic Bay Beach. On the far left was, when I was a kid and growing up, that's what the beach was like. And then the first construction of the boardwalk was the middle picture there, and now this is what we're managing now, the 2,700 feet of beach, which is a great amenity to the town and everything, but it's just, the improvements to our facilities and amenities have really attracted a lot of people, I think. And then it's just going to get better. I mean, the STEEP grant that was awarded recently for $500,000 for improvements to the restrooms is much needed. It's one of the biggest complaints that I get. No one likes to use the porta potty for a restroom, so this will be a big addition to that. So, and then we've been taking our dog to the Amtrak Beach for years. How come we can no longer go on the beach? And we continue to get this. So there is a state regulation that permits domestic animals shall be prohibited in the water and the land immediately adjacent to the water of a public swim area when the public swim area is open for use. So I did reach out to Ledge Light to get their opinion, and their opinion was that entire beach at the Niantic Bay Beach was adjacent to our swimming area when it's open. So we have, Park and Rec Commission has banned dogs from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and they are permitted from Labor Day through Memorial Day, but they must be leashed. So, and the tent, I think the tent has brought a lot of people in. We purchased that in April of 2014, and just our rentals have stayed consistent. We're 82 in 2014. We have 84 tent rentals this past summer. I think we have turned a ton of people away. We are booked every weekend from Memorial Day through this past weekend. So a lot of people use them for private parties and family reunions and weddings and that kind of thing. So we have, the other thing is with the special events that are brought into the park, I mean, Celebrate East Lyme brings thousands of people into the park. I think they get a chance to see our beaches. The Niantic Bay Triathlon has 600 participants. I hear from a lot of participants there how nice the beaches are, and I think we get a lot of people back. We do the Niantic Bay 10K, the Jeffries Rainbow Run, the Toucher Truck, the Back to School, the summer concerts. So I think we're getting a lot of use of our park areas, and I think people are hopefully seeing our parks and coming back and visiting. And then, are we ready for winter? Heck, no, I'm not. I don't know if anybody else is, but I want to see summer stay on a little bit. So, I hope I didn't take up too much of your time, but I did want to, do the special revenue fund, and then because we are so busy with our beaches, and I am getting a lot of questions, and it is going to be a challenge for the Park and Rec Commission and for our department on managing our beaches as we go along. So, thank you.
Let's
Receptive
thank
to
you.
questions, right?
Yeah, let me turn this all around here and bring it back to you and us, and see if there's any questions from this commission. There we go. You in there, Mark? Are there any questions for Mr. Putnam?
I just want to thank you very much for coming out, you and Mike. I get a lot of these questions all the time. I think you addressed them all pretty well, and thank you for taking some time out tonight to address us.
Great, no problem.
Would you have any idea how many times people were turned away because there was no parking available?
Okay. At Cheney Park, we did turn people away on 2 occasions, July 4th and I believe July 5th, for a short period of time. At McCook, we didn't turn anybody away. However, they weren't able to park where they wanted to park. And some of that was because that construction area up there takes a big corner of our parking lot away up there. So what we did is we brought people in and parked them on the grass area between the bathroom and the parking area up top, if you're familiar with that area. So people weren't able to park down low and get to the beach, but we did allow we didn't turn anybody away from McCook. And then Hole in the Wall, unfortunately, was closed Monday through Friday because of the construction, but Saturday and Sunday. So I think we had a busy summer. I think we managed it really well. I think next year will be easier for us to manage because now we know the boardwalk will be open. We'll have the Hole in the Wall open 7 days a week. We'll get our upper parking lot back at McCook, which I think will make a big difference for us. And yeah, I'm excited for next year. I think it'll be easier than this year. Knock on wood.
To get the additional parking spaces
Mhm.
that you're projecting, could you tell us generally where those parking spaces would be
Sure.
located and how much grassy area we'd be losing as a
Right.
result of that?
Yep, so we're losing a little sliver of the parking area towards the pavilion. So if you go up towards the pavilion, we're probably going to lose about 15 feet of that grass area between the pavilion and where that upper parking lot started. So right now there's a wooden barrier that goes across there. So with that and with the design of the parking area being designed and now with lines painted, designated on there, we'll be able to get 78 parking spots up there, which would be a huge improvement to us. Before there were no lines up there and people were just kind of scattered all over the place. But we have design parking now. That'll be a big help to us.
And I'd ask that you provide paper copies of your financial income statements that were the slides up here.
Sure.
And if you'd send those to Ms. Stevens, she could photocopy those for our next packet.
Yeah. So you want the PowerPoint presentation?
I don't think we need all of the slides, but
Okay.
the ones that have the figures
Sure.
of the income and
Yep.
the outflow.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Do that.
So basically, about 98% of the time, people weren't turned away.
Yeah.
You know, I'm throwing a number out there, but it's in the high 90s. For the most part, other than a couple peak days,
Right.
we were able to accommodate for the most part. Some not, with convenience, not right up against the wall, backing it in and pulling the chair over the wall onto the sand.
Right.
But with the lack of parking up top, with Hole in the Wall being closed, and yeah, we have restrictions. We have parking limitations
Right.
at Cheney Park. We have a
Absolutely.
big beach with no parking.
Absolutely.
So this is where we talk about trolleys next year, and we have that conversation continuing
Yeah.
about
I
that.
have more people speak to me about the inability to park at McCook's.
Mhm.
Now, whether this is just a perception, but that's where I get the majority of comments, that
Right.
people feel they're a resident, they're a taxpayer, and they can't get to their own beach.
Right.
And I think that that's where the comments are coming from.
Mhm.
Is it possible, as we have 2 other beaches which are open to the public, to have the lower part of that beach identified as resident only?
I think I would like, before we move forward with that, I hate to get him involved.
Right.
No, we
But-
Well, I'm not.
but if that is-
No, I'm
if
not.
that is-
I'm not asking for an answer to that
Right,
tonight.
right.
I'm simply telling you what I'm hearing
Yeah.
Right.
with considerable amount of frequency.
Right.